Have you ever been told, you have diabetes now, so no more nuts, no beans, and definitely nothing that tastes too good? For many seniors, a diabetes diagnosis feels like the end of something beautiful: freedom, enjoyment, even joy at the table. But what if that message wasn't entirely true? What if some of the most common foods you've known and loved for decades, the same ones sitting quietly in your pantry, were not only safe, but surprisingly powerful in fighting diabetes? Science is catching up with something older generations have always understood in their bones. It's not about avoiding food, it's about understanding it. In this guide, we're going to take a fresh look at 5 incredibly sweet, familiar, and affordable nuts and beans that offer real, measurable support for blood sugar, inflammation, energy, and even emotional well being. Whether you're newly diagnosed or have been managing diabetes for years, what you're about to learn may change the way you see your meals and yourself, because sometimes the simplest foods hold the greatest power. And the first one on our list? It's small, satisfying, and smarter than you think. Let's begin with a nut that's been misunderstood for far too long: almonds. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Almonds. Small, but smart. There's something beautifully simple about a handful of almonds. Perhaps it's the quiet crackle when you bite into one, or the way they fit so easily into your daily routine. Modest, familiar, and often overlooked. But don't let their small size fool you. Almonds are, in fact, one of the most quietly powerful tools seniors can use in the fight against type 2 diabetes. For years, many of us believed that foods with a rich, nutty flavor and a higher fat content were best avoided when managing blood sugar. Yet modern research and the wisdom of many seasoned doctors tells a very different story. Almonds, though naturally rich in healthy fats, are incredibly effective at lowering the glycemic impact of the meals we eat. This means that when you eat almonds with other foods, especially carbohydrates like fruit or whole grains, they actually help to slow the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. Why is this so important for older adults? Because as we age, our body's insulin sensitivity tends to decline. Our cells don't respond to insulin as effectively as they once did, and sugar lingers in the blood longer than it should. That's where almonds come in. They're packed with magnesium, a mineral that plays a critical role in insulin function. According to a study published in the Journal of Nutrition, adults who regularly consume magnesium rich foods like almonds have significantly lower risks of developing type 2 diabetes. But the benefits don't stop there. Almonds also contain a unique trio of nutrients: healthy monounsaturated fats, plant-based protein, and fiber, all of which contribute to longer lasting satiety, better appetite control, and more stable blood sugar throughout the day. It's no wonder that many endocrinologists now recommend almonds as a daily snack for seniors looking to avoid glucose spikes without sacrificing flavor or satisfaction. Perhaps the most surprising part is how emotionally satisfying almonds can be. They're not just functional, they're comforting. Whether it's a handful with your afternoon tea, a sprinkle over your morning oatmeal, or a small dish beside your evening apple slices, almonds offer the kind of sweetness that nourishes both body and spirit. And just when you think a nut couldn't offer more, wait until you discover the mighty power hidden inside one of the humblest legumes in your pantry: an age-old staple that quietly supports your blood sugar, your heart, and even your energy. Let's talk about black beans. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Black beans, humble but mighty. At first glance, black beans may seem too ordinary to be special, just a soft, dark legume often tucked away in soups, burritos, or chili. But for seniors navigating the daily challenges of diabetes, black beans are anything but ordinary. In fact, this modest pantry staple holds a quiet strength that modern science is only beginning to fully appreciate. For decades, many older adults have focused on avoiding carbohydrates altogether, fearing that any starchy food might send their blood sugar soaring. But not all carbs are created equal, and black beans prove that beautifully. Rich in resistant starch and soluble fiber, black beans work with your body, not against it. According to the American Diabetes Association and multiple clinical studies, the fiber in black beans slows down digestion, delaying the release of glucose into the bloodstream. The result? A smoother, more stable rise in blood sugar rather than a sharp spike followed by a crash. But it gets even better. Black beans are an excellent source of plant-based protein, which supports muscle preservation, a critical factor for aging adults. They're also packed with magnesium, folate, and iron, nutrients that become increasingly important with age as our bodies need more support for nerve health, energy levels, and red blood cell production. Endocrinologists and geriatric dietitians alike have noted how incorporating half a cup of black beans into a meal not only provides satiety, keeping you fuller for longer, but also supports better glycemic control when eaten regularly. For seniors who often deal with midday energy dips or morning fatigue, adding black beans to breakfast or lunch can lead to sustained energy, fewer cravings, and a more balanced day. What makes black beans truly special is how they blend nutrition with familiarity. They're comfort food, yet so much more. They remind us of homemade meals, of warmth and care, of community tables and slow cooked Sundays. And now they serve a new purpose, helping you live longer with better quality, one meal at a time. Still, as powerful as black beans are, there's a certain nut that speaks not only to the body, but also to the brain, one that carries the wisdom of nature and the gift of memory. Let's take a closer look at walnuts. 3. Walnuts, a connection between heart and mind. There's something deeply grounding about walnuts. Their earthy aroma, the satisfying snap when they break between your fingers, the way they resemble the very organ they help protect, the brain. For many older adults, walnuts may be familiar from childhood holiday bowls or family baking traditions, but few realize that these humble nuts carry remarkable power in the battle against diabetes, especially as we age. What makes walnuts so special isn't just their taste or texture, it's their unique profile of nutrients that work on multiple fronts. At the heart of their benefits is alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid known to fight chronic inflammation. This matters profoundly for seniors managing type 2 diabetes because inflammation plays a silent but destructive role in insulin resistance, heart disease, joint pain, and even cognitive decline. According to a large study published in Diabetes Care, adults who regularly consumed walnuts experienced improved insulin sensitivity, better blood lipid profiles, and reduced inflammatory markers. An impressive trifecta for anyone, but especially for those navigating diabetes in later life. Walnuts are also naturally low in carbohydrates and high in healthy fats and protein, making them one of the few snacks that don't cause sharp fluctuations in blood sugar. In fact, a clinical trial at Yale School of Medicine found that type 2 diabetics who included walnuts in their diet experienced lower fasting insulin levels and reported feeling fuller longer. For seniors who often struggle with blood sugar control and appetite regulation,
This can mean fewer cravings, steadier energy, and less risk of overeating. But the magic of walnuts goes beyond the lab. Many geriatric dietitians point out how walnuts support cognitive function, a gift for those hoping to preserve memory and mental clarity with age. Rich in antioxidants, polyphenols, and vitamin E, walnuts have been linked to slower brain aging and may even lower the risk of Alzheimer's disease. One small handful a day becomes a small act of both nourishment and protection for the heart, the mind, and everything in between. There's something beautiful about rediscovering a food that's always been with us, now carrying new purpose and meaning. Walnuts remind us that eating well doesn't have to feel like restriction. It can feel like wisdom passed down through generations, simple and strong. But as grounding as walnuts are, there's a gentle, quiet powerhouse waiting in your pantry, one that brings warmth, stability, and deep support to your digestion and your day. Let's explore the unexpected strength of lentils. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4.
4. Lentils, gentle but enduring. There's a quiet kind of strength in lentils, no flash, no fuss, just simple, steady nourishment that has stood the test of time. For centuries, lentils have been a staple in kitchens around the world. They've warmed cold winter evenings, stretched family meals, and brought comfort with every spoonful. But what many older adults don't realize is that this humble legume, so common and unassuming, holds an extraordinary ability to support life with diabetes, especially in the later years when our bodies crave balance, warmth, and reliability more than ever. Lentils may not shout for attention, but inside each tiny seed is a powerful combination of complex carbohydrates, plant-based protein, and soluble fiber, a trio that works in harmony to protect your blood sugar. Unlike processed grains or simple starches, lentils break down slowly, releasing glucose into the bloodstream at a measured pace. This helps prevent the blood sugar spikes and crashes that can leave older adults feeling shaky, fatigued, or mentally foggy. In fact, studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have shown that people who replace high GI foods like white rice or potatoes with lentils experience significantly lower post-meal glucose responses, even up to 20-30% lower. But lentils aren't just blood sugar stabilizers. They're rich in magnesium, folate, and iron, nutrients that many seniors unknowingly fall short on. Magnesium supports nerve and muscle function and helps improve insulin sensitivity. Folate aids in cardiovascular health and cellular repair. Iron boosts energy levels and reduces the risk of anemia, a condition that often saps vitality in older age. Lentils provide all of this without cholesterol, without excess sodium, and without added sugars, making them a perfect foundation for a senior-friendly, diabetes-supportive diet. Geriatric dietitians often recommend lentils to their older patients not only for their nutritional benefits, but for their digestive ease. Unlike many other legumes, lentils are easier on the stomach and gentler to digest. Their soft texture and versatility make them perfect for aging teeth or sensitive digestion. Whether folded into a warm soup, served over brown rice, or tossed into a salad, lentils adapt effortlessly to nearly any dish, and more importantly, to nearly any life stage. But perhaps the most touching part of lentils is the emotional comfort they bring. There's something deeply reassuring about a bowl of lentils. It feels homemade, familiar, grounding. For many older adults, it's a return to something steady, nourishing, and whole. And in a world of overly processed foods and quick fixes, lentils offer what's often missing: patience, care, and quiet power. Just 1 cup can fuel your body, anchor your blood sugar, and restore your energy in a way that's gentle, not jarring. It's no wonder some doctors refer to lentils as a diabetic's ally in disguise. And yet, as soft and dependable as lentils are, there's another food on this list that brings joy, color, and a little bit of playful indulgence, while still protecting your health in ways that might just surprise you. Let's peel back the shell and discover the secret of pistachios.
5. Pistachios. Light, joyful, and surprisingly balanced. There's something almost playful about pistachios. The gentle act of cracking open each shell invites you to slow down, to savor, to be present. Their pale green color and subtle sweetness make them feel like a small indulgence, one of those rare snacks that brings both satisfaction and joy. But behind their lighthearted appearance, pistachios carry serious nutritional value, especially for older adults managing diabetes. What makes pistachios so uniquely valuable isn't just their taste, it's how they interact with your metabolism. According to a growing body of research, including a landmark study published in Diabetes Care, pistachios can significantly improve glycemic control, insulin sensitivity, and cardiovascular markers in adults with type 2 diabetes. Unlike refined snacks that spike blood sugar and offer little nutritional return, pistachios provide protein, fiber, and healthy fats, creating a perfect storm for stabilizing blood sugar levels. They help prevent the rapid absorption of glucose, offering instead a slow and steady stream of energy, something especially important for seniors whose metabolism and insulin response may have become more fragile over time. But there's more. Pistachios are naturally rich in potassium, magnesium, and antioxidants, nutrients that work in harmony to lower blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and protect blood vessels. These are critical benefits for older adults who are often managing multiple conditions alongside diabetes, like hypertension or cardiovascular risk. In fact, clinical trials have shown that eating a small daily portion of pistachios may lead to lower LDL cholesterol and a decrease in belly fat, two major contributors to insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. What often surprises seniors most is that pistachios feel indulgent but act medicinal. You're not giving up flavor, you're gaining balance. A small bowl of pistachios can turn an afternoon lull into a moment of peaceful nourishment. Paired with a few slices of apple or a bit of Greek yogurt, they transform into a mini meal that honors both taste and wellness. There's even something meditative about the process of eating them slowly, one by one. It's not just about nutrition, it's about connection to your body, to the moment, to the idea that food can be both healing and deeply enjoyable. And for many older adults, that's the most refreshing surprise of all. You don't have to choose between living well and eating well. Pistachios offer a reminder that sweetness, pleasure, and health can coexist if we choose with care. But even as we celebrate the gifts of these 5 sweet and powerful foods, there's something even more important waiting ahead. The wisdom that comes from how we eat, why we choose, and what it really means to care for ourselves in the years that matter most. Let's explore the lasting lessons for seniors living with diabetes and how small changes can open the door to a brighter, more balanced life. 6. Timeless lessons for seniors living with diabetes. As we age, the way we understand food begins to shift. It's no longer just about what's tasty, trendy, or convenient. It becomes about how food makes us feel, how it supports the body we've lived in for decades, and how it honors the wisdom we've gathered along the way. For seniors living with diabetes, this relationship with food becomes even more meaningful. The daily choices we make around the table become acts of care, of resilience, and, when guided by the right knowledge, acts of healing. One of the most powerful lessons we've learned from these simple natural foods, almonds, black beans, walnuts, lentils, pistachios, is that diabetes management isn't about deprivation. It's about choosing foods that work with your body's biology rather than against it. Science tells us that many of the complications associated with type 2 diabetes, unstable blood sugar, inflammation, insulin resistance, and fatigue, can be influenced by the quality and timing of what we eat. Yet what may surprise many is that some of the most effective medicine doesn't come in a bottle. It comes from foods that are whole, minimally processed, and thoughtfully paired. Geriatric specialists and endocrinologists consistently remind us that nutritional balance, not restriction, is the key to stability in later life. A senior body is different. Digestion slows, muscle mass decreases, and insulin sensitivity wanes. That's why foods rich in fiber, healthy fats, and plant-based protein become essential. They slow digestion, help regulate energy, and prevent the spikes and crashes that make diabetes management so difficult. Each nut and bean we've explored offers these components in its own way, and when included regularly, they help build a rhythm of eating that is both blood sugar friendly and deeply satisfying. But perhaps the greatest lesson isn't just scientific, it's emotional. Eating well at this stage of life is also about reclaiming joy. Many seniors living with diabetes have felt fear, confusion, or guilt around food. They've been told what not to eat rather than being shown what they can enjoy. That's what makes this shift so important, to know that pistachios, lentils, or walnuts aren't off limits. They're recommended. To understand that pleasure and health are not opposites, they can live on the same plate. When food becomes a source of empowerment rather than anxiety, everything changes. Blood sugar levels stabilize, energy improves, and even mood lifts. Many older adults describe feeling more in control again, not just of their condition, but of their lives. These lessons, rooted in tradition, supported by science, and affirmed by experience, remind us that aging with diabetes does not mean losing freedom. It means gaining insight. It means learning to nourish your body with care, your mind with clarity, and your spirit with compassion. And now, as we bring all these lessons together, there remains one final truth, perhaps the most important of all. Because understanding what to eat is one thing, but learning how to live fully with diabetes, to enjoy each day with strength, purpose, and peace, that's a message worth staying for. Let's bring it all home.
A gentle return to trust, taste, and timeless wisdom. As I reflect on the lessons from these 5 simple foods, almonds, black beans, walnuts, lentils, and pistachios, I find myself thinking not just as someone who's read the science, but as someone who has lived the years. There was a time when I, too, feared food. After my own diagnosis of type 2 diabetes years ago, I remember standing in the grocery aisle with a sense of quiet defeat. Suddenly, everyday choices felt like landmines. Should I put the nuts back? Could I trust a bowl of beans? Could I still enjoy something that tasted sweet without paying the price later? Like many seniors, I had been told for so long what not to eat that I forgot how to eat with joy. But slowly, I began to relearn. With the help of a thoughtful doctor, a compassionate nutritionist, and a bit of old-fashioned curiosity, I started welcoming these foods back into my life, not with guilt, but with understanding. I learned how almonds gave me steady energy through the day, how black beans helped me feel full without raising my blood sugar, how a handful of walnuts soothed my joints and kept my mind clear, how lentils comforted me after a long walk, and how pistachios made me smile, cracking open each one like a gift. I stopped seeing food as an enemy. I started seeing it as a partner in healing, not a cure, not a miracle, but a kind of daily grace. This is the truth I want to pass on to you. You are not too old, too late, or too far along to build a better relationship with food. Diabetes doesn't mean you failed. It means your body is asking you to listen more closely, to move with care, and to nourish yourself with both intention and kindness. These foods we've explored today are not exotic or expensive. They're not complicated or trendy. They're simple, real, and within reach. And they carry a wisdom that matches the wisdom of age. That balance, not restriction, is the true path to well being. So, as you go forward, whether you're preparing your next meal, opening your pantry, or simply thinking about what's possible, remember this: you deserve nourishment that honors your years, not punishes them. You deserve sweetness that doesn't come with fear. You deserve food that supports your life, your spirit, and your health. And most of all, you deserve to eat in a way that brings you comfort, joy, and the quiet confidence that you are still beautifully in charge of your story. Here's to that story, and to the many satisfying, steady, and sweet chapters still ahead. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.